Good happy Friday morning. I'm Riley King, and welcome to WRMK News with Riley King. It is Friday, January 17, 2025. We got a jam packed broadcast to get to on this Friday, so let's get started right now. First up, Chief Justice says he was not aware of meeting between Justice Hantez Macaroni and then Governor Chris Sununu. Let's take a listen to that report from WMUR News 9.
Yeah, Chief Justice Gordon McDonald said he was not aware of this meeting between Justice Hans Marconi and the governor. He says that he was angry to learn that she claimed being kept off cases because of an investigation would burden other justices. He says that was not the case.
The big takeaway is that the Attorney General's office is being pretty careful about this investigation.
Newly filed paperwork shows State Supreme Court Justice Anna Barbara Hans Marconi sent an email requesting a meeting with Governor Chris Sununu. That email said she wanted to discuss a personal matter involving an immediate member of her family. The paperwork says the governor called the Chief Justice prior to that meeting, who said he was unaware of it. This contradicts what Hans Marconi's lawyers have to say, that Chief Justice Gordon McDonald okayed the meeting, saying he believed she would be able to meet with the governor because she was a constituent with concerns. Legal expert Jesse O'Neill read the transcript.
Perhaps the conversation happened and he didn't remember it, but the fact that there's now that discrepancy between Justice Hans Marconi's legal team's position or statement and what the interview with the Chief Justice says may be significant.
The governor again called the Chief Justice after that meeting. Sununu said Hans Marconi told him she would need to disqualify herself from 40% of the workload because of ties to the AG's office. She claimed that placed a burden on the other justices. Chief Justice McDonald said that made him angry because there are policies and procedures in place for this kind of situation, and all the work would be completed.
It's something that's not completely uncommon, and I think experienced judges are used to, the fact that their colleagues may need to recuse themselves and that somebody may need to pick up the slack.
Now, the next court date for this hearing, the next hearing for this matter is on February 3rd. We're live in Portsmouth. Kelly O'Brien, WMUR News 9.
Maine homeowners. Okay, and there you go on that report. Merrimack Valley High School students remember a classmate that passed away in a crash. Let's take a listen to that report from WMUR News 9.
A 17-year-old is being remembered tonight at his high school. He was killed earlier this week when his pickup truck veered off the road and into water. WMUR's Maria Wilson is in Concord with how the community is now remembering him.
Well, Tom, a ray of sunshine. That's how his friends are remembering the teen in the days after his passing. A community in mourning here at the Merrimack Valley High School. A growing group of students, teachers, and others gathered to remember one of their own. Wyatt Carlton was a senior here. He was killed when his pickup truck veered off the road and into a drainage ditch early Monday morning. We spoke with his friends just moments ago. They say Wyatt was known for being funny and an athlete, but it's his kind heart that they'll miss most about the 17-year-old. They say the hallways already feel a lot emptier without him. Now, this vigil just started moments ago, and students tell me they organized this thinking it would just be a small group of peers, and they are touched by the outpouring of support from the whole community here tonight. We're live in Concord. Maria Wilson, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that report. Big turnout for testimony on legislation to eliminate income cap on school choice program. Let's take a listen to that report from WMUR News 9.
Families over the income eligibility limit for education freedom accounts, the state's school choice program, are urging lawmakers to support legislation making access universal.
We live just above that line, and my husband works in sales. One more dip of the economy, and it wouldn't just be our kids' education. it would be a whole lot more.
Currently, the EFA program is open to families with an income at or below 350% of the federal poverty level. In 2024, that was just under $110,000 for a family of four.
There's been people applying who are just $1 over. And so anytime you impose an income limit, then you're excluding someone who may still need help.
Opponents of making EFAs available to all families regardless of income say such a dramatic expansion of the program would come with an astronomical price tag.
If all the students who are currently in private school or being homeschooled to some kind of private option, all the different varieties that can look like, were to take up an EFA, the ballpark is over $100 million a year.
Meanwhile, many districts like Dover are already not receiving all necessary funds to adequately educate their students, including those with disabilities.
Parents over the current income cap say they pay taxes too, and they've already had to cut back to afford private education.
My personal sting is that I don't have my ski passes anymore.
While House Republicans are gung-ho about universal access to EFAs, Governor Kelly Ayotte, who supports the concept, is taking a more measured approach.
I'll work with the legislature on that as the ultimate goal. And what we do over this biennium, I think that we will be, regardless of whether we get to universal or not, we'll be expanding those opportunities.
In Concord, Adam Sexton, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that report. TSA security officer at Savannah Airport noticed pilot from New Hampshire drunk. Let's take a listen to that report from WMUR News 9.
So it's not a question of being overly drunk. It's a question of not having any alcohol in your system.
A pilot pulled from the cockpit during pre-flight checks and arrested at Savannah Hilton Head International Airport. David Alsop of Bedford now charged with DUI. According to the police report, a TSA agent flagging an airport police officer after noticing the 55-year-old seemed intoxicated and smelled like alcohol. The officer then boarding the plane.
He walked back out of the plane, came back a couple minutes later, and the pilot left with him.
In the police report, that officer wrote he detected a strong odor of what seemed to be alcohol and noted Alsop had bloodshot, watery eyes and a flushed complexion. Alsop saying his last drink was, last night, a few light beers. The Southwest pilot walked out to the jet bridge for a field sobriety test that he failed. Then he refused a blood test. Alsop was arrested and released on bond. News 9 visited Alsop's home in Bedford, but no one came to the door. The Southwest Pilots Union also not responding to our requests for comment. Aviation expert Tom Kinton says from airport staff to fellow crew members, there's a system of checks and balances to make sure no one gets into a cockpit while under the influence.
Person has to go through a lot of checkpoints before they get into that cockpit, and if you're drunk and have the smell of a strong scent of alcohol, person's going to do the right thing and call the authorities.
And the FAA has strict regulations on this. Pilots are prohibited from flying or attempting to fly with a blood alcohol level of 0.04 or higher. That's half the legal limit for driving a car. They're also restricted from having any alcohol starting 8 hours the night before. Ross Ketchke, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that report. Seacoast communities prepare to discuss Plastow Fire Department proposal for new paramedic care. Let's take a listen to that report from WMUR News 9.
So right now, there are 13 towns contracted with the Exeter Hospital ALS program. On March 21st, that program will be officially closing. So the purpose of tonight's meeting was for the Plastow Fire Department to go over their plan for a new regional program to those towns and convince them to sign a one-year contract.
We've been talking about them a lot at meetings because it's important to the community.
Heidi Carlson is the town administrator in Fremont, and she represented her community tonight while the Plastow Fire Chief went over over the new paramedic intercept service planned for the Seacoast.
What they've come up with, we hope, is going to be a viable, good replacement option for the Exeter Hospital program.
A replacement that's needed after the owner of Exeter Hospital announced in September its advanced life support program would be discontinued after 32 years. It supplied 2 paramedics and specialty equipment in an SUV to respond to emergencies in the field.
I'm an EMT as well and have been out on calls where I know that presence of an advanced life support provider made a difference between life and death. So it's something people are concerned about.
After months of brainstorming, the Seacoast Chief Fire Officers Mutual Aid District is backing Plastow's proposal that brings in 2 staffed vehicles, 2 paramedics available 24/7, the same level of service provided by Exeter Hospital, and more training for paramedic staff. Because Exeter Hospital is giving $2 million to help launch the program, the cost to participating towns will be the same as what they're paying now for the first year. After that, the cost will depend on how many towns sign on.
It's emergency help, right? It's something that's not scheduled, that people don't know when they're going to have the worst day of their life, and they deserve to have high-quality service come to them in a time of need.
In Exeter, Imani Fleming, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that report. D.C. prepares for President-elect Donald Trump's second inauguration. Let's take a listen to that report from CBS News.
We wanted to see firsthand where all those tech CEOs, lawmakers, and former presidents will sit on Monday. So we went to Capitol Hill for rare access to the inauguration platform and sat down with Democratic Senator Amy Klobuchar and Republican Senator Deb Fischer. They are members of the inauguration committee.
It's kind of an unbelievable thing how many people come to this. There's people that have not missed one for ever. They keep coming back.
And this is where the president's platform is.
As the president will stand here and make his inaugural address. This is what he'll see, except filled with people.
So with less than a week out, what are you excited about? What are you fearful about?
This has been a long time in the making. This started before we knew who was going to win the presidency. We're going to see another peaceful transfer of power, which is what is so important to our country. You see former presidents of both political parties here who may disagree with each other, obviously. This is a great democracy, and no matter if your party wins or loses, we respect that democracy. That's what this ceremony is about.
It's just been fun to see this come together. This platform is constructed brand new every 4 years, and that shows a new beginning.
How will security be different?
That's a big issue, obviously, because we've seen not just threats, but action taken against a president-elect. Security adapts to these changes when they take place, when threats are out there. We have to put our faith in the Capitol Police, in the Secret Service, to be able to handle any situation that comes up.
There have been major security reviews, obviously, since the assassination attempt, but also actually since 4 years ago with the Electoral College Day, January 6th. And I think all of the security reviews that have been done when mistakes have been made in the past, not at this event, but at others, will only contribute to better security.
Senator, inauguration, celebration of a new president in a bipartisan fashion. What challenges, though, do you see are ahead for Donald Trump?
Well, there's major challenges for our country. The American people would like to see people work together. To me, our job is under the Constitution. We have to protect and defend the Constitution. And to me, that means sometimes we're going to stand our ground, and when we can, we find common ground.
CBS News will have extensive coverage of the presidential inauguration starting Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern, right here on CBS and our streaming channel, CBS News 24/7. We hope to see you.
Okay, and there you go on that report. We're going to switch gears now, and let's take a look at your weather right now and see how the weather is. And your weather for today: sunny, high near 35 degrees, winds light and variable. Tonight, partly cloudy this evening with more clouds for overnight, low 22 degrees, winds light and variable. And tomorrow, cloudy with occasional light rain in the afternoon, high 42 degrees, winds south at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Chance of rain, 80%. It's currently fair and 13 degrees right now. And a check of your traffic for this morning if you're heading out on those roadways. On 93 heading into Massachusetts, a fairly nice smooth sailing ride, a little bit of medium paced traffic. 293, nice smooth sailing ride as well. Round the Manchester, a nice smooth sailing ride as well. 93 around Hooksett, Bow, and Concord, nice smooth sailing ride. 393, a fairly nice smooth sailing ride as well, a little bit of medium paced traffic. Before you got a smooth sailing ride with some areas of medium paced traffic. Route 16 of the Spalding, nice smooth sailing ride, a little bit of medium paced traffic, and 95, nice smooth sailing ride as well. 101, a nice smooth sailing ride as well. And Merrimack, Nashua, into that border, Massachusetts, nice smooth sailing ride as well. That does it for this morning edition of WRMK News with Riley King. Thank you for tuning in and listening. Have a great day. Goodbye.